Hello, and thank you so much for joining me on this very hot, sunny day. I wanted to talk again today about negativity, but this time I want to give you a short routine that can quickly help you get out of any negative feeling in the moment. So if ever you're triggered and you feel angry, frustrated, annoyed, fearful, anything that's negative, shameful, guilty, you name it, there's a list of thousands long of negative emotions that we might feel in the moment. And I want to give you something that's really useful and really practical, because something happened to me at the weekend and I thought, this is a process that I do instinctively now because I've been doing it for so long, but it's helped me in so many ways. So I wanted to share this little sequence of questions with an energy intervention that helps you get out of a negative feeling in the moment. It works every single time. It might take a little bit of practice to kind of get used to the flow, but it's really simple and really potent. So the previous videos have shared energy medicine to release deep trapped emotion, or energy psychology to get you out of those limiting beliefs and fears that you've held on to. This is about fear or about any negative emotion that comes up in the moment. I'll share an example. So this occurred to me because at the weekend I had what felt like it was going to be an argument with my boyfriend. I was sharing something that I wanted to do. He didn't seem to be listening. He was working away on his computer. I spoke again. I felt like I was ignored. And I kind of thought, why is he ignoring me? What's going on? I don't deserve this. And I started to feel anger rising. But then came in my intervention. So if you feel anger rising in the moment, if you feel frustrated or annoyed, this is the process that I use, and I really want to share it with you. I call it SOUL, SOUL, where S is for stop, O is for observe, U is for understand, and L is for love. Stop, observe, understand, and love. There's a bit more to it than that, so let me explain. So anger is coming, I'm feeling frustrated, he's not listening to me. Right, this is what I do. I stop. I take a pause, because when you start to feel triggered, that's when your lizard brain, your ancient Rhea brain that has limited ability to reason, gets into its instinctual mode and steps in and says, yes, I feel triggered. I'm just going to knee-jerk response. I'm probably going to say or do something that I'll regret later. I'll say and do something which is from my ego, from my smaller self, that might feel like it's vented some anger in the moment, but it won't get me anywhere. It'll cause increased suffering because it'll inflame the situation. I won't be listened to. I won't get what I want. And also it'll inflame my partner. It'll probably make them more aggressive. So when you get triggered in that way, here is the energy intervention. I stop, then I do what's called the wisdom hold. So I take my thumb and my middle finger, just put them gently to my nose. You can do a slight upward pinch. Put the forefinger to your third eye, the center of your brow. Then with this hand, we'll loop it underneath. We're just putting the hands against our temple and the thumb on my cheekbone. So face on, I've got a pinch to the nose and then just a gentle hold. And this is connecting you back to your wisdom. It's grounding you through the thumb on your cheekbone, sending calming energy down your stomach meridian, which ends here at your cheekbone. And we're calming your stress response by holding the neurovascular points across your temple, and calming the meridian that actually governs your fight, flight, or freeze, the meridian that controls your stress response. I'm sorry if you can't hear me very well, but this is a really calming hold. It's calming you, sending a message to your central nervous system. I've got this, I'm okay, I'm safe. There's no need to trigger the stress response. I'm grounded. I'm reconnecting to my wisdom. So this hold is allowing your mental chaos, so thoughts swirling, emotions forming, all those triggered emotions swirling around you, negative energy. So asking that to drop and to ground safely. My central nervous system knows I'm okay. And I can reconnect to my wisdom with this hold. Just taking a few deep belly breaths. We'll do 1 or 2 together. Breathing in. A little bit more. Hold it. And breathe out slowly. When you think you've breathed out all you can, breathe out a little bit more. So it makes you take a really deep, refreshing gulp of new, clean oxygen. You'll feel so much better. And then switch the hold, change sides, and we'll do the other side. Your hands to your temple, thumb to your cheekbone, pinching the nose and touching the third eye. And just rest your elbows, just feeling the calm, feeling you settle back to earth again, feeling that immediate knee-jerk response just dissipate. Now, for the sake of this video, I'll let go of that hold, but you keep hold and keep breathing deeply, slowly, methodically. You'll soon find that you're no longer feeling triggered, you're no longer feeling aggravated or frustrated or annoyed, and you're getting back in touch with your wisdom. And when you do that hold, a beautiful energetic figure 8 is starting to form. And it's, if you've ever looked at the heart mind conformance, heart maths, if you Google heart maths, it's a wonderful institute where your heart and your mind come into coherence. Your heartbeat slows down, your brain waves slow down, tension is released, and you start to feel more like your normal self. And from this place, once you've stopped and you've done that quick energy intervention, go to the toilet if you don't want to do it in front of someone, take yourself to a different room if you can, or practice this after the event if you can't do that. Just see how it works for you. But now you can do the hold, keep doing the hold, and go through the rest of soul. Stop, observe, understand, and love. So when you observe, it's about asking yourself, what am I feeling right now? What am I really feeling? What emotion is coming up? Is it anger? Is it guilt? Is it frustration? But more importantly, it's the why. Why am I feeling what I'm feeling? So try and be as specific as you can. When you start exploring, it's already raising you up the emotional ladder, taking you out of that negative emotion into a higher vibration, into neutral, because you're starting to explore. You're starting to get inquisitive. Why am I feeling this? Is what I'm feeling really relative to the situation that's just happened? Is it in perspective? Or am I feeling something? Have I triggered a deeper emotion, a trapped emotion, an old pattern? So if I give you an example, when I related the weekend event of being annoyed with my boyfriend because it didn't seem like he was listening, I got really upset. I got really angry. And it wasn't so much that I was angry about a casual thing that he was working away and I knew he had a lot of work to do and I just wanted to talk about something we were going to do later that day. The anger was totally out of proportion. And as I delved into it, I realized my anger was because as a child, I was the youngest of 5. I was the only girl, and I had to really shout and scream to be heard. And our parents were very strict. And if I was shouting and screaming, they wouldn't listen either. They wouldn't give me the time of day. They would tell me I was being emotional, to calm down, to shut up. And if I was a good girl, could I actually say what I needed to say. So it was very frustrating for me to go through that as a child. And it was that old pattern of not being heard, not being respected, not being listened to that had been triggered. And I realized there was no reason to feel super angry at my boyfriend. It allowed me to think more wisely. And if you're still doing that hold and connecting your wisdom, still keep going. So I observed and I started to understand. So I've done the S for stop. I've done the observe. What's really going on? I asked myself a few questions. Is this relevant Is this feeling relevant? Is it in perspective? No. What's underneath it? Let's find out. And that's going to understand. And then I can also, in understand, start to get a broader perspective. So why would he be behaving like that? Well, I knew he needed to get some work done and he had a deadline, and we'd agreed we were going to go out later. So if I interrupted him, then of course I was interrupting his flow. It would take him longer. It would stop us from doing the things we'd already planned. So of course he was in a very different space. He didn't want to plan something else that didn't matter in the moment, because he had a task that he and I both agreed we would finish. So he was doing something we both agreed. He was working and he was earning money for both of us. So lots of good things, lots of good reasons why he didn't respond immediately. And also a hidden, deeper emotional reason why I had been triggered. As soon as I understood that, I realized that anger wouldn't serve, that feeling frustrated wouldn't serve, and that actually what would serve would probably be something completely different. So that's when it comes to choosing an action from a space of love. So my knee-jerk response would be to shout and yell, swear maybe, say something horrible, storm out, slam a few doors until I was listened to. That's the child. That was my inner child going back to that time in my childhood when I wasn't listened to. In my wiser space, having done my energy medicine hold, I could see that emotion was out of proportion. I could understand my boyfriend's behavior, and I could choose a different response, a different action from a space of love. I could reframe it. He was ready to talk after he'd done his work, and we could choose what to do together when he had more time. So I could choose a 180-degree different and opposite response to my knee-jerk one. I could smile, laugh to myself about my new understanding about my childhood anger about not being heard. I could just say, it's okay, I can see you're working, I love you, let's figure this out later on when we've got some time. We can do something we both want to do together. And ignore me, I'm just blathering. And it would make me laugh. You know, I could be talking to the back of his laptop, but I know he would have heard. He would have heard that I was coming from a space of love, that I knew he wasn't ignoring me on purpose. And this is the response that I actually did. And the signal he gave was heart and a thumbs up. All is well. And that made me smile. That made me laugh. Laughter and love are an amazingly different space to come from. And when you're thinking through this and you're thinking, what is the complete opposite of my knee-jerk response? And you can think to yourself, ask yourself the question, how would that make me feel doing that 180-degree response? And the likelihood is it would make you feel happier, it would make you feel better. You could give yourself a pat on the back for doing something from your higher self, not from your lizard brain, from your ancient instinctual response, that you've actually made someone else feel better, you've made yourself feel better and someone else in the moment. And that's a really great feeling. So not only have you stopped your knee-jerk response, you've learned about something that's deep, that's been triggering you. You can use some of my earlier techniques, go back to those earlier videos, to release that deeper emotion, to let go of that old pattern. So use those videos to release what you've just figured out, because that will really serve you in the future. You will no longer get triggered. And every moment you come from a space of love, you are lifting your own vibration. You are creating a new pattern, a new habit, and you've made someone else happy. Now, isn't that better? Honestly, try that, soul. Stop. Now, do your energy medicine intervention. Observe, understand, and act from a place of love. If you are more soulful in the future, I promise you, you will love it. So go away and let me know how that works for you. I'd love to hear your experience and your comments. If you've got any future topics you'd like to hear more about, please drop those in the comments below as well. Thank you so much for listening. Show me some love, show my channel some more love, as I know you have been doing, because more people will see this and will lift the consciousness of the world together. Thank you so much. Cheers, guys.